Hello and welcome to another episode of Citadel Guard Adventures. This is Beriathan of the Citadel Guard of Gondor, and we are back in Beilavard. On the last episode we were already at the point at which we could do the raid. However, the raid had actually not released at that point when I recorded, it released afterwards, and when the raid released the quests were versioned. So that means we actually need to go back and pick the quest back with Soltakh.
Finruth speaks true. Crannog may still live, but unless we destroy the shard of Tauressar, the fight against the Iron Crown is lost.
Even the greatest victory might be undone if the Oathstone can be used against us. There is no other course. We must strike at the very heart of the Iron Crown in Cargûl. The fate of our people and of Angmar itself depends on us. Go and tell Nekhtan of what you have learned. When you are prepared, we shall set out to Gwathrenost. So this gives me the chance to refresh myself a little bit on what has happened. It's been a while since I recorded these Angmar Reborn episodes, but I will of course wait until I have them all ready before I release them, so for you I don't think you will have a lot of trouble.
You need not ask, my friend. If there is any hope that Crannog still lives, I will not abandon him.
What? Swear you do not deceive me. You tell Nekhtan that Crannog may still live within Gwathrenost. You need not ask, my friend. If there is any hope that Crannog still lives, I will not abandon him. If you go to Gwathrenost, I will follow you. So...
when you are ready to make for the old Citadel of the Witch King, the Trév Gállorg will fight by your side.
Exactly, we're ready to do the raid now, but actually there are a couple quests that we can pick before we go.
What is it?
Hail, Beriathan, we must act against the Iron Crown before it is too late. If we are to put an end to their plans for Angmar, we have no choice but to strike at the heart of Gwathrenost. You should gather your mightiest allies, my friend. Once you have prepared, set siege upon the old Citadel of the Witch King. So that's just the weekly quest for the raid, and inside the tent we have a couple more quests as well. Beriathan. The Iron Crown has imprisoned tribesmen of the Trév Gállorg and the exiles of the Trév within the walls of the Witch King's Citadel. It is said they are kept confined within the heights of Gwathrenost and under constant watch. If we do not act swiftly, it will not be long before they become Gwathreland, the old thralls of the Iron Crown.
I speak with you.
Have you a moment, Beriathan? The Iron Crown keeps many repositories within the walls of Gwathrenost, and it is rumored they contain scrolls to tell the tale of the true history of Angmar. What such knowledge might mean for our people I cannot say for certain, but we shall have time enough to reckon with it after the Iron Crown is driven out of our lands. If you intend to brave the Witch King's Citadel, would you search for some of these scrolls?
Evil has returned to Cargûl.
It is a terrible sight to see so many banners of the Iron Crown again flying within Cargûl. We have done what we can to tear them down throughout the city, but the banners at Gwathrenost are too well defended. Will you aid us, friend? If the Iron Crown is to be overthrown at last, the symbols of their oppression must be torn down. As far as I know, these are the only quests for Gwathrenost, because all these other quest givers are for the other instances we have already done. So, what we're gonna do... I don't think this portal serves... this is just the physical entrance, but nothing we can do in here. So what I'm gonna do, a little bit different from the previous time, I'm actually going to enter the raid so that we can get a little bit of sense of what's going on in the raid, what is the backstory, take a look at some of the deeds maybe, and without the group rushing to the fight, because I hate when that happens. I like to take my time to see what I'm up against before I get into the fray. So I'm gonna get in the raid, take a look at all that, and we'll see. Yeah, I'm eager to go as well, Garliv, but you cannot go, I don't think so. So wait here for me, boy, and I will be back.
Once the seat of the Witch King of Angmar, The dread citadel of Gwathrenost casts a long shadow upon the city of Cargûl. All but abandoned after the steward of Angmar was deposed, the remnants of the Iron Throne have crept forth from the shadows, seeking to master a lost artifact of the Witch King and reclaim dominion over the realm.
Alright, so these are the sticks for the raid. We have lots of deeds, the meta deeds. Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. Shadows of the Past, Foe of the Iron Crown, Foe of the Orc Realm. So let's try and check all these deeds before we continue. Complete Tier 3, Tier 2, Tier 1. Foe of the Orc Realm. We need to defeat Goblins, Trolls, Gurkrak, Orcs, and Uruk-hai. We need to defeat 300 of them. Foe of the Iron Crown, Angmar and Hillmen. 400 of them, that's gonna be a lot. I think that's it. And we also have deeds of Gwathrenost, which is of course completing all these deeds for some extra virtue XP, some extra titles, but that is all that we have got. There is actually another quest in here. There it is, Beriathan. Whether it is called Turduvar, Gwathrenost, or countless other names, it is the Dark Citadel of the Witch King of Angmar. But you know it well, don't you? From what we have learned, High Priestess Ásachal has stolen a shard of the ancient Oathstone of Rudaur, Tauressar, and brought it to Angmar that she might wield its power as her own. It is said that it was corrupted by the hand of the Witch King himself, and that oaths sworn upon it bind the wills of its victims to the Oathstone. Even so far from the battle in the Southlands, our tribes learned of the Witch King's doom. Does Ásachal truly mean to master the Oathstone in his absence? It must be destroyed before it's too late. Although we cannot be certain, it is likely the shard is now kept in the highest chambers of Gwathrenost. We have cleared the way, my friend. It is up to you now. So this is just to track your progress. That's okay. Let me take the quest anyway. I'm not sure if I will be doing the raid at tier 1 or maybe at a higher tier. I think that's a question I need to answer later. But this is all I wanted to check before actually getting into a group and starting the fight. So I will be back with you as soon as the group is ready and we'll brave the Witch King's Citadel. Alright, and we are ready to go now. We are actually doing the raid at tier 2. This is a king run, like usual. And on this particular run, we kinda... Well, I don't want to say rushed it, but we went straight to every boss. So there are a couple things I didn't do with the king in this initial run. Some of the explorer deeds, the items that you need to get, the locations. I had to come later and get them on my own. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do some cuts here and there to show you the moment at which you can get each one of these things that we technically skipped. But that is basically it. We're just waiting for everyone to get here and get ready for the fight. As you see here, our first stop, well, is defeating Gurkrak and opening the gates to the Citadel. I'm just double checking Joker here because I'm not sure if I have mentioned that to you. Well, Joker and I have been kinmates for over 10 years now. And since I have taken different breaks from the game, every time I get back, I feel like I have missed something, that I need to relearn many things. And Joker is a gate-warden, so I like to take the time every time the chance presents itself to check what Joker's doing, how he's gearing up and everything. And that gives me an idea of where I need to be. So we have the first discovery here. The first location for the deed, Gwathrenost. Well, the entrance to the Citadel, to be more precise. And in here, all we need to do is defeat the Ats on our way to the first boss. which is a guarding the door, basically. So, well, this fight's not gonna take that long. I don't think so. Doing tier 2 and most of the kin is really geared up. I think I might well be the... My gear might be the wars from all the kinmates in here, to be honest with you, because as much as I have wanted to be more active in grouping and everything since the release of update 35, I haven't grouped as much as I wanted, so I really haven't had the chance to improve my gear as much as I would have liked. I mean, I'm not sure if I want to get into that rabbit hole again of getting better gear, because it's a never-ending endeavor, and I don't have as much time with the game as I used to have when I was in my 20s, but I would still like to give it a try every once in a while, and this was one of the reasons why I was very excited for doing this raid. Of course, seeing the end of the storyline is the top reason, but I also wanted to see if I could get some better gear. And here goes my first death of the night. Sadly, there will be a few more coming. It wouldn't be a raid video on the channel without me dying, right? And me dying on the bosses as well. I'm gonna die on a couple of these bosses too. It was my first time running around doing the raid. And I had already read a little bit about the strategies with each boss, and the king of course explained some of it to me as we were playing through. But I don't know why. I don't know if it's just me getting older or what it's going on, but I don't know why I am struggling to follow this kind of strategies more than I used to do in my prime, let us say, when I was running Isengard and the Lonely Mountain. We had crazy strategies and I was able to follow them all. And I committed to memory everything I needed to remember about each one of these instances, but I'm struggling a little bit more with the strategies and the layouts and everything on these kind of raids. I struggled on the Hidden Horde, and I'm struggling here on Gwathrenost as well, especially the bosses. So I don't know, maybe I just need to raid more consistently, you know, because raiding once every blue moon is not cutting it. Of course, it doesn't help anyone if you wanna learn what you're doing. But on this particular case, at least, I'm just following the king as best as I can, following the target assist, and I'm following the instructions as well. We were on Discord and they were giving me the instructions on Discord. So yeah, I was just tagging along as best as I could, but if at any point I become more active in raiding once again, I hope I will get better, right? That's the plan. Enough! We have the first boss, Gurkrak. We're getting ready to fight him. Everyone's grabbing their meals, scrolls and tokens. Who needed them? I needed them. Someone in my group did refresh them. Thank you so much. And whenever you're ready. It's been a while since I recorded the gameplay. Between me recording the gameplay and me recording the commentary, the voiceover, there's been a lot of time, so I'm going to explain what all that I remember about the raid, but well, there were many things I missed in the first place, so by any means is this intended to be a strategy, a tutorial of any kind. The the purpose with this kind of videos is just showing the raid, some of the mechanics and the storyline to people like me who are not able to get in a lot of groups due to time constraints, to gear constraints, or what have you. So this is just for these kind of people to be able to see what the raid is about and get up to speed with everything. Sometimes the game assumes you have done the raid, and if you haven't, it's kind of confusing. So that's the purpose behind this. So with the ready check now done, let us hope we can get to the boss. A really short boss fight, all things considered, but once again, I could have done better in this one. You wish to enter the Hallowed Citadel? Come then. You shall learn soon enough of your folly, little ones. Your will shall break like twigs underfoot, and you will beg to serve the Iron Crown. None may oppose the Witch King of Angmar, the Witch Queen. Oh my god, yeah, my subconscious in there. No, the Witch Queen, which is supposed to be Ásachal, but yeah, she is the one that's in charge now. But as you see here, we're doing pretty good. The issue that I had in here that I had totally forgotten about is this one. The boss will give you some cues like this one, run little vermin run. He will bring down some rocks, some debris will fall and will crush you. And of course you get the marker on the ground, the warning for you to move out, but I totally forgot about that one, and then I died. I hadn't realized that at least on this first boss fight, you really... Well, I'm not so sure about that one. I might be misremembering, but you can just retreat. But I would expect the entrance to this boss to be locked somehow, because otherwise there wouldn't be any challenge in this. In any case, I was just waiting for the rest. Thank God I got it, and I assure you, after this first one, I didn't forget about the debris ever again. This fight, apart from that, I found quite simple, at least on tier 2. I haven't tried this raid on higher tiers yet. From what I understand, well, you get some extra mechanics and some extra challenges when you increase the tiers. Makes sense. I'm not sure which ones exactly, but at least on tier 2 this thing was really not that complicated. Now, something else I forgot to mention before, and before I forgot to mention this again, you might notice some slight difference in my mic sound between the start of the episode and this section in here, because in between me recording, well, the gameplay and then recording the voiceover, I moved, as I have mentioned before on the channel. So this is one of the very first videos that I am recording on my new place with my new setup and everything. The acoustics are a little bit different, and I'm not sure how much of a difference does that make, but if you noticed any differences in between the start of the episode and now that we are in the raid, that's why. Anyway, now that that is out of the way, we continue getting the ads. Once again, the king is the one that knows the target priority for this. I just follow the target assist. But as you've seen in there, you need to take care of the ads as soon as they come. And then you go back to the boss, and it's basically, other than these falling debris, it's a classic tank and spank, I would say. We're almost done now. You see, it's really not that complex once you figure out you gotta move out before you are crushed. Things can get a little chaotic at times. There are a lot of effects. You might miss the markers on the ground even if you know you're looking for them. That almost happened to me there. But Thankfully, I didn't die on this second fight. And with another round of Oathbreakers, this should be over really soon. And there we go, some marks, some medallions. I failed you, my queen, says Gurkrak. And that's how things are supposed to be. So now someone's gonna grab the chest really quick, and then we will enter the Citadel proper, and we'll begin our ascent to the top level. Once again, there are a couple of locations and items that we missed on our way there. So I'm gonna cut to one of those items in just a moment as soon as we enter. But first I'm gonna grab these banners. We have some side quests in here. I didn't complete them all, but I still try to get as many of these items as I could. Alright, there we go. The chest has been looted. A recipe, an enhancement rune, and a purple jewelry that I will need to check later. For now, we are just entering, and once again, I'm gonna cut to the item and then to the raid once again. But no, before we cut, let me show you how we get there in the first place. You enter the Citadel, you enter Gwathrenost. There are a couple of ads in here. And just checking here some of the loot that we got. But basically, what we're gonna do is just start opening a way. So whenever you're ready, guys, we'll get there and start fighting. Yumara's and Gurkrak is up to us now. Feel the wrath of the Claghórd. Some trolls and some uruks as well. We're just clearing our way there to the stairs. Lots of bots. Gotta take these guys down. These trolls do take a little bit longer than the others, of course. But once again, I'm just following target assist. I'm not entirely sure what each one of these mobs do, but thankfully the king does. These guys do take a while. Just to give you an idea, when we were playing this raid, I think we were in Reward Track Season 5, and now we are on Season 7. So yeah, it was a long time between me recording the gameplay and recording the commentary. Anyway, let me grab some of these banners, and we'll defeat the Angmarims. And they keep on coming. Some hounds as well now. Alright, and here we have the lower level of the tower. And here's where the king... You can see there at that room way back there, there's a banner. That's one of the items that we need to get for this deed, and that is one of the items I'm gonna cut to in just a moment. And I'm gonna show you what I did to get it. That was very creative in my opinion. I enjoyed that one a lot. It was a stroke of genius, if you ask me. I'm very proud of that idea. You will see why in just a moment. Let me clear all those ads, and there we go. So my idea to get this item was switching to blue and building up some stacks of advanced technique so I could cash out Desperate Fist and stun the enemies that surround the item while I get it. And that gives me just enough time to take the item. Then I get killed, of course, but I think that was a great idea, if you ask me. I used Desperate Fist, and with a little bit of luck, Armaments of the Fallen. You have discovered weapons once wielded by Mura and Rodakan, reverently mounted in Gwathrenost. And Mura and Rodakan, if I'm not mistaken, those were two bosses from the old Varad Gularan instance back in the level 50 days. If I'm not mistaken, I have not run that one so much, but I like how there are some throwbacks to those original Shadows of Angmar days throughout this raid. It was a really nice touch, in my opinion. Alright, now that we got the banner, we can make our way up the tower. There's a deed in here, Castle Crusher, that requires you to, from when you cross the door to when you defeat the last boss, I think it is, you gotta take a set amount of time. I'm not sure exactly which one, and I think maybe the king was trying to get it, or maybe they're just trying to be time efficient with the raid. Bottom line, we couldn't do it. By summoning hand, the door slammed behind you. That's when the trial begins. But a chill washes over you as fell spirits descend to hinder your ascent to Gwathrenost. What happened there is that just before the second boss fight, one of our Kinis had to drop, and we spent a lot of time looking for someone else. So we, of course, missed any chance we had of completing that challenge. You feel a chill as more spirits descend from higher in Gwathrenost. So yeah, this is gonna take a while. And more spirits are descending even. Continue our ascending here. Lots of guys. Duvardine, Deathcaller, Iron Crown Priest. Well, what you'd come to expect in a place such as this, in Angmar. Desecrated Spirit. Inactive Gambit. Yeah, a little bit of lag in there, but it's okay. We were trying to be as fast as possible, as you can see. That's what led me to believe we were trying to get the Castle Crusher did. Sadly, with the changes to the lineup, you cannot do it. If you're aiming to get this challenge, you cannot stop. You gotta be really fast. You really need to be really strong. And I don't know if anyone in the king has gotten that deed. That's just for bragging rights, of course, but it's a really nice deed. It's a really nice title. Maybe one of them has it. I hope someone does. But from what I understand, it's not as easy as it seems. It's quite challenging, on the contrary. Anyway, now that we finish defeating this wave of ads, the door is gonna open for boss 2. With the Iron Crown Sorcerer's defeat, the Fell Spirits vanish and a path deeper into Gwathrenost opens. Alright, so here we have the second boss. As I mentioned earlier, we had to wait a little bit longer because one of our Kinis couldn't continue, and we spent quite some time looking for someone else. So let me just finish grabbing the banners, and I'm gonna cut to the second boss fight. And after we do the boss, we are gonna do one of the locations that we also need for the deed. Once again, the king didn't do it on this run, so I had to come back later to get it, but that's not a big deal. It's just on the south gate of this room, and here you can also see some of the other items you need for the deed. Well, and for the quest. The Iron Crown Repository we don't need, but the Book of Knives, the Watch Against the Night, those are items we need for the deed. And for Wardens, we need the Watch Against the Night. That was the hardest one for me to get, so I think I'm gonna leave that one for the end of the video. Because, well, you'll see why when we get there. But let me just then get to the second boss and... okay, this was reward track 6, not 5, but you still get the idea. So I was saying, let me cut to the boss fight, and then we're gonna check the location on the south gate. We'll finish the rest of the raid, And then we'll come back for the Watch Against the Night. I think that's a good plan. Alright, there we go. Boss number 2. I bid you welcome, my esteemed guests. You must forgive the condition of these halls, for they have languished in my absence. It is no matter, all will be set to rights soon enough. Alas, you have arrived earlier than my master anticipated. It seems I shall have to entertain you myself. Okay, so here we have Castellan Obáshurz. To be honest with you, I don't remember too much about this fight. Do not think to fly from your fears. There was a mechanic in here, of course. Ah, yeah, you have to hide behind the pillars when he's talking about that. He will summon some ads. Perhaps a tale will sate your curiosity. What kind of tale? Yeah, I really didn't get to learn a lot about this fight because, as you will see, was pretty straightforward. Those who wander are wont to become lost. Oh, what a nice Easter egg that one is. But yeah, it's a relatively simple fight. He summons some ads, you deal with the ads. Well, here they are trapped in some puddles. But as you see here, we are avoiding the puddles because, well, Joker knows what he's doing. He's pretty good, as I have mentioned before as well. And the only thing I really remember about this fight was that... Ah, he's also summoning these spirits, and I guess these spirits will heal him if they reach him, as some other boss fights also do. But as you see here, we really didn't have a lot of issues with this fight. That's what I don't remember a lot about the mechanics in here, other than hiding behind the pillars. But I remember some stuff now that I'm reviewing this for the video. Do not think to fly from your fears. Alright, so that's... Yeah, there we go. That's your cue to go hide. But other than that, I don't see anything else. You saw in here he got one of my kidneys and sort of pulled him over. That didn't happen to me as far as I remember. We have another way of ads. And some debuffs, I guess. I wasn't paying attention to that debuff. But no, it's a puddle that subtracts some of your morale, so just move away and you should be okay. These holes have not forgotten you. Yeah, we technically have been here before, so that's what he means with that. Do not think to fly from your fears. So hide. Ah no, we faced him to summon the spirits before he could use his attack. Ah, that was cool. And we do need some help with this spirit in here, but that's done already. Nothing else that I can see here in this fight. Perhaps a tale will sate your curiosity, Beriathan. That was aimed at me, but I don't see what that was about. My guests demand more and I don't deny them. Do nothing to fly from your fears. I think Yeah, I think I forgot to fly from this. Yep, I wasn't fast enough. Once again, it wouldn't be a great boss fight if I wouldn't die to it. So the remainder of the boss fight is just me sitting there, watching the king, taking care of it. What a silly mistake. What a really, really silly mistake. Otherwise, I think I would have done pretty okay. I don't think I would have died to the other things the boss can throw at you. I guess I wasn't paying enough attention to the text cues and I missed it. By the time I realized I had to hide behind one of the pillars, it was too late for me. And since we had some other deaths, well, there was a rest priority, of course, and I don't think I was too high up on the list. Me being quite inexperienced with the raid and not having as high a DPS as some other classes, I can see what I was in rest. It was still sad, of course. I wanted to finish the fight standing, you know, fighting and not watching, but what can you do? So let's just see here. What else can Castellan Obáshurz throw our way? Another one of those fears. Nobody else got hit. Well, perhaps a more formal welcome is in order. What do you mean with that? Not too much, it seems. It seems a lot of the text lines this boss have are just flair, because I don't see him doing anything with them. Maybe at higher tiers, I don't know. Not familiar enough with the raid. And once again, this is not meant to be a walkthrough discussing strategies and mechanics. It's just for the story. How rude. I gotta love the way this boss dies. Like it was just mildly annoying for him. Might be true, he's a wraith after all, but still funny. So I was just double checking here the location for the books while the king looted the chest. Got some loot, but nothing out of the extraordinary. So that is the south gate. Let me cut to that, show you the location, and then we'll continue with the raid. All right, so there you see, from the Book of Knives, you take the south exit, which is this one. And we come here, Trév Gállorg. If I'm not mistaken, this is the place where Mordred commanded his troops when he was the steward of Angmar. And the issue in here is this place is filled with enemies and they didn't load for me, so I died. But that was just the location. Let us go back to the raid. This was a really short one. Alright, I'd say we are ready to continue now our ascent through the tower. So there goes Joker, and we are all going after him anytime now. Just checking some of the loot. The king is linking in there, but it seems, yeah, there's not much else to see. But yeah, pressing on, it's what we're gonna do. I think those guys there in the back we can safely ignore. Is that right? Alright, and here we begin our ascent. Well, we should say continue our ascent. Behold the power of the Witch King of Angmar. You two shall serve the Witch Queen. So once again, we just need to clear the ads on our way up. But I don't know exactly what happened in here. We ended up pulling every single ad on this ramp. So you will see soon enough a couple wipes. I'm not entirely sure what happened once again. Maybe we got cocky, or maybe there was, I don't know, an issue with aggro. I don't know. I think we got cocky. Yeah, I seem to remember we got cocky. It was just for funsies to see how much of a beating we could take. But spoiler alert, it doesn't end well. Because these adds were not made to be fought in such large numbers as you'll see in just a moment. This so far is manageable, but we're about to try and chew more than we can handle, and it doesn't end well. I'm a little bit I'm willing to show this because, well, I don't think you are willing to see a lot of people die, but I also don't want to skip parts of the raid. Even as banal as this might seem, we're just climbing the ramps and fighting the adds, but if I were the one watching, I wouldn't like to see any of the fights skipped. Even if we get to fail a few of those, I think it's better to show them rather than skip to a future point in the raid just to avoid a couple of unnecessary deaths. But that's just me. I hope you don't mind. Trying to make this as enjoying as I can. I mean, just fighting adds, and there's not a lot of science to it. And here's where things get messy. I was about to use that gate. Those are some of the gates you need for the side quest. One of the side quests, freeing the prisoners. But of course, we got into the fight, so I didn't have enough time to open those. And I wasn't sure at that point what these gates were, so I didn't want to mess up the raid somehow. I'm just following the lead, the people who know the raid best. But this is when things start to get messy. Really messy. Yeah, the game's starting to lag even because I think it's having issues keeping track of so many people at the same time. We're taking a heavy beating, and at this point we start to see that we will not be able to handle this. So we start this strat of retreating down the ramp as we take care of some of the adds. And the people who die, such as myself, we just retreat and start making our way back, trying to meet the king halfway through. Well, not the king, the adds. We die, we all of us retreat, the adds still have aggro on us, and they start climbing down to get us. And yeah, we meet them halfway through. And this repeats a couple times until we are able to take care of them all. Thankfully, no adds in here respawn. That would be awful. And here we just try and do the best we can. But I seem to remember, at least myself, I died another time. Seems we are undermanned even, so this could never end well. But all things considered, I think we handled ourselves pretty good. I mean, we had already messed up by pulling up so many adds anyway, but we did what we could. What you can say, Angmar has diminished as it is now, after the defeat of Mordredith and the Witch King. Angmar is still a very serious threat. Take a look at that. But it seems some of the ads have already de-aggroed on us. I think the issue in there is that some people retreated before the fight ended. And that's why the ads were still aggroed on the group and got down here. But if you wait until everybody dies before you retreat, then it should be okay. Again, as I mentioned at the start of the episode, there is a big gap in between me recording the gameplay and me actually recording my commentary, so I have forgotten a couple of things in here. This sort of details of what exactly happened. The storyline of the raid itself, it's pretty simple to follow, but what exactly happened to us as we made our way through the raid, some of these details I did forget. Once again, it's just fighting ads. We are really close to the final room now, to the throne room. So we just need to take care of some of these guys as we make our way there. Alright. Seems that guy there was... I don't know, is that a corruption that stops him from dying? Yeah, seems that was the case. Annoying corruption, if you ask me. But now that they are taken care of in a more elegant manner, we can finish our ascent. There are still a couple of stragglers here and there. Nothing too bad. Nothing we can't handle, really. Oh, it seems I spoke too soon. I'm not entirely sure what happened there, how all these guys got pulled. Maybe all these ads are part of the same pull. But... well, still more manageable than what we had before, so... I think we should be able to do okay. Even though some people are still dying. But they can still retreat, right? And run their way back here. We have the situation under control enough for a couple of people to die and retreat. I hope. Yeah, they are dropping now. We should be okay. Right, it seems they're about to go down. Is that it? Thank you. Oh no, not yet. That was it. There are still a few ads here and there. We're playing it safe now. Don't wanna get wrecked as we did before. Oh, yeah, we're almost done. Right, so seems that's it. Yeah. We are almost there to the throne room. But here we have, breathing faintly, a haggard Crannog lies on his side within a cage high in Gwathrenost. I'm gonna talk to him before I advance. Who's that there? Please, help me.
Please, help me.
Crannog struggles to see, his senses weakened by his imprisonment. Beriathan, can it be? You came. Yeah, he's not doing well.
Do not worry for us, my friend. Nekhtan and I will get him out of here.
My heart is light with hope, even in so dark a place. Crannog lives. I cannot thank you enough, Beriathan. I feared that we would be too late to save him. Alas, we must not forget what we have come here to do. High Priestess Ásachal and the Iron Crown must be stopped. The Shard of Tauressar must be destroyed, or any victory we win this day will ring hollow. Soltakh gestures to Nekhtan, and he returns a knowing nod. Do not worry for us, my friend. Nekhtan and I will get him out of here. Alright, so that's a couple pictures. I'm so glad we finally got Crannog. And here's Tham Mornarham, the throne room. Here we're ready to face Claghórd, but before we do it, there is another item for the Explorer Deed, another location that we can visit that is right outside the throne room. So let me jump to that, let me show you that, and then we'll come back here for the boss fight. Alright, here with Soltakh, on the right of the throne room, we have a cell, and in there you can see Galadhir's inscription, a crude inscription carved into the walls of the seemingly abandoned chamber in Gwathrenost. You have discovered an inscription to Lorniel carved into a wall of Galadhir's prison. Seems a little bit more of it. It was within this high chamber that Galadhir was imprisoned at Gwathrenost, only granted the briefest and most unkind of freedoms on the days he was forced to peer into the Palantir at Mordori's behest. Through all of his suffering, his love for his daughter Lorniel never wavered, and he dreamt of the day that they would last and be reunited. Alas, Mordred knew well of Galadhir's hopes, and his faith in those he had left behind at Gathfortnir. Once again, more of it. A sign of Mordred's evil. Poor Galadhir, another reminder of how much he suffered. Alright, we are ready now to go to the boss.
None may disturb the Witch Queen of Angmar.
See about that.
But I would be pleased.
Yeah, we had a score to settle with you as well, Claghórd. What say you? Let's get to it. Alright, so here we go with boss 3, and at the risk of repeating myself, what I said many times before in this video, I'm not sure about the mechanics on this one, at least on the first half of the fight regarding Crannog. Come, let us lay them together. Yeah, he calls ads. Once again, you just need to follow the target assist and you should be okay. As far as I remember, there are no restriction against AoE in this part of the fight, so you just take care of the ads as fast as you can. Well, you need to know the target priority. That's thankfully what I use the target assist for, and that's it. Some more ads on this other side. Only a fool never changes his strategy. Yeah, that's true. But this strategy is working so far, so there is no need to change it. Maybe he's talking about himself. The Trév Gállorg will be victorious, and once again another wave of ads. That's basically what this fight is, as far as I can remember. This one is quite a lengthy fight. In a way, it's two bosses for the price of one. You'll see why. Well, you'll see in just a moment. I would assume most of you already know what the raid is about, or maybe don't. Once again, this video is intended to show the history, the plot of the raid, so to speak, and people who don't get to raid that much. Aim for people who don't get to raid that much. Once again, that's the kind of video I would have loved to see in the early days when I started playing the game and I couldn't get into a lot of raids, and every time I came back from a long break and was not geared enough for a raid. This is the kind of video I would have loved to see for a raid as the Throne of the Dread Terror, for example. I could only run that raid about 4 years after it was released. That's crazy. And I spent those 4 years wondering exactly what happened in there, and well, since the Pelennor is my favorite section of the books, I really wanted to get into that raid, but I couldn't for the first 4 years, and this is the kind of video I would have loved to see of that raid. So yeah, maybe you don't know what the raid is about, so that's why I'm trying to not spoil it as much. Now that we're talking about the Throne of Dread Terror, that is of course a raid I would like to get to eventually and give it the same treatment and upload the video showing the story about it. After the Eli revamp, getting a group for Throne was not as simple, so there's some difficulty in there, but we have some drama now. Back in the Gondor days, I assume. So Claghórd is now under the sway of the Tauressar.
It is too late. Once these pillmen serve the Witch King, I am the master. The only purpose of weak-willed men. In time, all will bow to the Witch Queen.
The so-called Witch Queen.
This kingdom will flourish anew, and Angmar itself will be reborn. Perhaps you may
So there you have it. The second, so to speak, phase of this fight involves fighting Ásachal and Claghórd at the same time. And this one does take way longer than the first phase. You need to deal with both of them. Claghórd is not so hard from what I remember, but Ásachal takes some time. And as I was saying, well, we met these two back in Gundabad in the Dwarfspire, and that's what this Angmar Reborn storyline is completing. The plot that was left unfinished in there. Claghórd escaped. We didn't find the Tauressar in there. Ásachal, well, she seemed to be defeated, and she somehow came back. And as far as I remember, that hasn't been explained. But maybe the Tauressar had something to do with it. Maybe her evil magic. I don't know. Bottom line, Claghórd is now, as I said before, under the sway of the Tauressar. And we need to fight him. He cannot escape this one. As much as he wants, he cannot do it. So this will be the end of Claghórd for good this time. Let us hope. He's about to go down. We are betrayed. And there he goes. Now we go to Ásachal. May your blood boil. And we'll see what happens in this fight as it happens. But as I was saying before, Throne of the Dread Terror. After the Ally revamp, people stopped running the raid because you couldn't get any more level cap items by running the raid. So the days of running Throne to get Scrolls of Empowerment were behind us. And since that's the case as of now, well, and Throne is not as popular as it was before, it's really hard to find a group to run it. I would love to at some point, and I'm not sure. This video was the gameplay was recorded before the stat squish, but the stat squish update 37 has already been released. There we go, more ads. We'll take care of the ads and go back to Ásachal in just a moment. But as I was saying, the stat squish of update 37 has already been released, and it has, as far as I understand, it has changed how some of the early portions of the game play. So I'm not sure how feasible it would be to solo Throne now. I didn't try to solo the entire raid before, but I remember I was able to solo bosses 1 and 2 on tier 1. So maybe I can try to do that if I'm not able to get a group. But I would love to get a video of Throne out there. I would prefer to have a group, and especially someone who knows the raid and can lead it. But if not, I'll guess I can try and do it. We'll see. Anyway, that's as far as it goes for all raids, the purpose behind this kind of videos, and well, some of the old raids I would like to get to as well. There are many raids that I hadn't shown on the channel yet, but Throne is on the top of the list for me. Of course, all the other ones are on the list as well, and some of them are even easier to get to than Throne, but we'll see how it goes. I have so much on my plate right now, but I do intend to go back to some of those low level areas and those low level instances and get to all those moments in the game that we haven't witnessed yet. At some point I really want to do that, but first we gotta finish what we have before us, and in my case that means, well, finishing this Angmar Reborn storyline and then moving on to King's Gondor, and who knows how much time will I have before the release of the Umbar expansion. Oh, what happened there? Not entirely sure, but it seems I had a fear that was removing a percentage of my morale. Thankfully the healers on this fight were on fire, because you have seen there has been a couple of cases in which I've been on the brink of death, but I hadn't, and that's thanks to the amazing healers we had in here. And wouldn't you know, as far as it might be to believe, but this is the only raid boss fight so far in which I didn't die, and that's amazing. That goes to show that I can indeed complete a raid without dying, but I guess I still need some more practice. But I'm glad I was able to at least complete this fight against Claghórd and Ásachal without dying. We are witnessing everything as it happens, and I am playing a part, at least, in defeating the boss, instead of just sitting around and waiting for the rest of the group to take care of it. So yeah, I'm very thankful for that, but spoiler alert, I don't have the same luck for the last boss, but at least on this one I did. That's great. And as you see here, we are about halfway through with the fight. This one is a really long one. I will burn you to ashes. I didn't die, but people still died in here. So Well, not as smooth as it can be, of course, but we still got it. So no worries on that regard. It's just that she takes such a beating, takes such a long time to defeat. Most of the raid at perfect gear, well, not perfect, but you have to watch over this hole for long enough, my faithful servants. Cast off that old stone and spread your wings. This is one of the coolest moments of the entire raid. All these gargoyles that are, well, Druzok technically, that are released from their spell and join the fight. Such a really nice moment, and unexpected as well the first time you do it. And now you gotta defeat these guys, and then, well, continue working your way through Ásachal. As I was saying, the raid, most of the raid, if not all of them, had great gear, raid gear, teal jewelry, teal armor, and that kind of stuff. And even then it took us a while. I mean, we might not be in the top tier raiding kings, but we still get things done, and we have very skilled people in here. But even then, it took us a while to complete this fight. All these Druzok are about to go down. I think we are just on the last one, and hopefully then we'll be able to get the priestess down a little bit faster. Once again, I'm not entirely sure the kind of buffs and debuffs that she can apply. But as you have seen, this has been very simple. The only mechanic that I see here that might prove troublesome is that morale, percentage-based morale fear, if you are not paying attention and you don't pot it. And there are some bottles in here as well, but they don't seem to be that bad. So basically, yeah, very straightforward fight. Some adds, but nothing out of the ordinary, I would say. Yeah, well, she does pound you eventually, every once in a while. We have seen that a couple times already. So the idea is that you group towards the middle of the room by the Tauressar, so that you are not sent to the lava pit in there and die. But what else is there to this fight? I don't remember, but I thought to bend you to my will, but no, I will savor every moment of this. Well, savor it while you can. You're about to go down. Once again, not very complex, as at least that's the impression I get out of this. Who knows, maybe the king was so good at this fight that they carried me on it, and I didn't notice some of the nuances. I don't know if this is supposed to be an easy fight or not, but at least the impression I got is that it was quite simple. They were giving me instructions and everything, of course, as you can expect. But I swore. And down she goes. So now everything we need to wait for is, well, some loot. Well, someone to loot the chest. Here we have the pedestal of the Palantir that you might remember from Volume 1. We need that for the Explorer Deed, but that will only trigger after we defeat the final boss, which is the Tauressar. So as soon as we are ready to start that fight, I'm gonna cut to that moment and you will see how we do. So I'll be back when we are ready to start the new boss fight. Alright, so here we are ready to start the last boss of the raid of the long last, the shard of the Tauressar that you can see in there. Somebody has to actually go there and activate it so we can start. And it explodes, basically. Tauressar turns its malice upon you. I don't remember exactly what we did in here. I do remember, yeah, the first part of the strategy, as you see here, is bringing the shard to the other side of the throne room. And it seems we'll need to move it bit by bit. My best guess is the shard will drop so many paddles that you really need to be organized in the way in which you position the group and move the shard so that the paddles drop in an orderly manner and you don't get overwhelmed by them. That's what I got from it, but once again, I might be wrong on this regard. Anyway, for the time being, we just need to worry about the boss. It's a little bit weird, if you ask me, to be fighting an actual shard of a stone. As far as I remember, I don't think we have seen any other of the Bandasari being sentient or anything like this. So this was a little surprising for me as well. I don't know, how do you get a stone like this to develop a mind of its own? Maybe Ásachal spells had to do something to do with it, or maybe I'm just reading too much into it. I don't know. Well, we needed a final boss for the fight, and of course the purpose of the raid is destroying the Tauressar so that it cannot be used to continue manipulating or dominating the hillmen of Angmar, so this had to happen one way or another. And as you see here, well, the first portion of this boss fight, at least, is not so complicated. The Tauressar can hit quite hard, as you have seen, but it's just a basic tank and spank. You start taking it down, but at some point, and I think this is the point already, yeah, start dropping some ads, some more Druzog. We just focus on them before they once again overwhelm us. I think I maybe should have had floating names on to see what inductions they were using, but didn't think of that at that time. I was so focused on just fighting them and taking them down that I didn't think about the induction bar. Anyway, we're taking down these guys. The Druzog, somebody else is the off tank, is just holding off the shard while we take care of all these ads. And it seems this is the other reason why you wanted to take the shard to the other side, so that we could focus on the ads on this side of the room. My best guess is that these ads come at certain morale thresholds, so you of course don't want to take the shard of the Tauressar down with the AoE and trigger more ads before you are done with the first wave. And as you can see here, you can see all the green paddles that the shard has been dropping, so of course this also has to do with what I said before about dropping all these paddles in an orderly manner so that you can still have plenty of room for you to maneuver. And so far we are doing quite good, if I may say so myself. So at some point, I seem to remember we moved the shard of the Tauressar to the other side in front of the throne proper. But maybe not yet. Oh yeah, he does that as well. But it seems nobody fell in a wrong spot. That's fortunate. Not much else to see here. Well, these eyes that you need to drop away from the group as far as you can. I think that's gonna be the paddle. Yeah, maybe I could have dropped it a little bit closer to the other ones, but well, it was my first time, and my first time getting the eye as well. Wasn't that that bad anyway. We still had plenty of room to fight a boss, so not a big deal. And I don't remember if I was told to go to that exact position. Nearing its destruction, Tauressar calls upon the dead to honor their oaths. And as you see here, Claghórd and Ásachal rise once again. You gotta take those two guys down once again. I wasn't unsure, but it seems the raid is going to Claghórd first, like we did on the previous phase as well. So it seems, well, they have less morale now, and that is fortunate. And it seems in the meantime, the main tank is holding aggro on Tauressar and Ásachal at the same time. The DPS is focused on Claghórd, but as you can see here, there are a couple of guys still in there. Tank, healer, a little bit of DPS. No, doesn't seem so. Those guys there are just keeping their distance, and we have the healer that's taking care of Joker while we take care of Claghórd. Oh my god. Yeah, that was bound to happen. I told you I died in this fight as well. But at least this time around I didn't have to sit the entire time. Thankfully there was a rest available for me. I mean, I wouldn't mind so much dying and watching the rest of the king take care of it if it weren't for the gray filter that you get every time you die, because that impairs visibility, of course, and for this kind of videos that's just not good. Anyway, now that Claghórd is down, we go back to Ásachal yet again, and as you have seen, she still has more morale than Claghórd, but almost a quarter of what she had before. So this is of course intended to be a really quick fight. She's not a boss anymore, she's just at this point. But of course I would expect her to still have some of the skills and debuffs that she applied on the previous phase. So this is when the fight against the Shard of Tauressar gets interesting, when you are required to defeat Claghórd and Ásachal once again while dealing with the Shard and keeping your distance. Oh my god, Joker's down. But well, he was rest quite easily, and with all the new tools Wardens got after the revamp, Joker dying was not a big of a setback, actually. We did good on this fight as well. Not as good as the previous phase. This is our second attempt and we still have some people dying, but we still did good. The Shard of Tauressar shimmers as its defenses fall. So it seems now it's gonna go down faster than it did before, yeah. At least I hope so. We are really close now and about to be done with the raid, actually. It's gonna be the last leg of the fight. So many things happening at the same time. The screen gets a little bit cluttered, and if you are not familiar with a fight as I am, you can make a few mistakes, as you'll see in just a moment. I was very confident. I don't know, maybe I got a little bit cocky once again and stopped paying attention to some of my debuffs. I don't know exactly what happened, but there you go. I got down once again. But we were so close that, yeah, with the Shard of the Oath Stone of Rudar shattered, its fell grip is broken. We have completed the raid at tier 2. We have completed a couple deeds for Virtue XP and extra title. We will check that in just a moment. But there we go. The Tauressar was defeated. Now, to finish the storyline, we just need to talk to Soltakh back at Vale Avark, but there are a couple of things we still need to do inside the raid. Namely, well, looting the chest and getting the Palantir, the pedestal. But we're gonna loot the chest first, and since this was my first time completing the raid, I got the honors of looting the chest of the Tauressar. And I think we got... Well, I think my drops at least were a little bit better than the previous ones. At least everything I got was steel this time around. You can see here the deed that we completed. Some reputation, a new title, Sliver of Hope, Virtue XP, Innocence is now level 50, and the loot. And before I forget, let me grab the pedestal of the Lost Palantir. You have discovered the pedestal of the Lost Palantir, yes, that's it. And that is it basically, as far as the raid is concerned. I will spend some time in here checking the loot I got and freeing up some backspace because I barely have any. But you don't need to see that. Let me now jump to the very last thing we need to do inside the raid. And that is getting the Watch Against the Night to complete the Explorer deed. So I'm gonna go back to the second boss room and show you how I got it. I struggled a little bit, but I still got it. Alright, and here we are. Back at the second boss room. Here is where we fought him, you might remember. And, well, there is the exit to Tirith Gularan. And right close to it, we will find the Watch Against the Night. I have already tried to get this one a couple times, and I have failed so far. The strategy is the same, it's just use Desperate Fist, stun all the enemies in the room, grab the book, and go. The thing is, there are more enemies in this room than on the room for the Armaments of the Fallen, so this has cost me a little bit more than before, but hopefully this one will be the one. So I'm almost ready to go. I have tried using a careful step a couple times. We'll see how that goes. I'm just building my stacks of advanced technique out of combat. No, just using careful step. We'll see how it goes. You don't need to build advanced technique to cash out Desperate Fist. And there we go. Awesome, you have discovered the Night Forgotten Tomb detailing. Well, we'll check that in just a moment. We have completed the deed Shadows of the Past. We got a new title, Secure Forbidden Knowledge, and some Virtue XP. We have discovered the Night Forgotten Tomb detailing one of the many foes of the Iron Crown. And Innocence is now level 51. So let me double check this that we got really quick. No, that's not it. It's this one. So you see here that we already have all the items we needed, and we have the title. You have found lost secrets and knowledge in the darkest corners of Gwathrenost. And you can see here each one of these items has a description, but here we have the description of the Forgotten Tome. It's basically telling how it is a little bit weird that other copies of the tome were missing pages, but the Iron Crown was able to get a complete, a pristine copy of this tome, detailing some of its enemies. And in the Warden's case, the Watch Against the Night is detailing the Watch Mardens of Gondolin even. So how did the Iron Crown get a book such as this? I don't know. I think it's also a really fun detail how the deed says, how the deed references the missing pages that we were collecting for the class deeds back in level 50. So once again, many cool throwbacks to the original Shadows of Angmar era, and there are a couple more on that deed. It's just that I think we have already taken enough time today, and I don't think we have enough time to check all those descriptions on the deed. But if you want me to check them and to show them to you, just let me know in the comments down below, and I can make a quick video showing all those item descriptions, which in my opinion are really nice. But once again, I don't think we have enough time today to check them, and I don't think we have enough time today to talk to Soltakh, because this will send us to the end of the Angmar Reborn storyline. But once again, we have already taken more than an hour in here, close to an hour and a half. So I think it's better for us to just leave that for the next one. So join me on the next time and we'll see how this Angmar Reborn storyline ends. For the time being, this has been all on today's episode of Citadel Guard Adventures, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the next one. Until then, my friends, stay safe, take care, good luck to you all, and I will see you later.